Hello world, my name is Kwame, and welcome to my apocalyptic playground. If you found my channel, you've probably noticed I have a few other videos. Nothing with speaking. This is my voice debut right here. I figured since this is the first time I'm talking to everybody, I would just give like a quick background. I've been painting Warhammer for about, 25 years. Yeah, long time, since high school. Warhammer 40k has always been my favorite tabletop game and hobby. And I took a break from it in my 20s, but got back into it, real hard, my, late 20s, early 30s. Since then, I don't know, I think I've gotten better. It's just, painting these figures is a personal challenge for me. I do commission work sometimes. I really love doing it. And so that's why I'm putting up these videos, because I know there are tons of you out there who love, Warhammer 40k hobbying, and gaming, of course. I have a couple armies, but, well, I play Chaos primarily, but, I have a Thousand Suns army, a Death Guard army, and, of course, my favorite, a World Eaters army. I've been working on some Khorne Demons as of lately. I know you probably... I'm hoping that you saw some of my other speed paints with my Knight, and some, I think, Foated Bloat Drone was another one I did. So, hoping you saw those. If you didn't, no prob. They're on my channel. Check them out. I don't talk through them or anything. It's just a speed paint. But I figured with this... Let's talk about, my workflow. I'm not saying mine is superior or the standard or anything like that. Like I said, I'm a hobbyist. And this is just the workflow that I choose to use, that I just kind of developed and tweaked and, took techniques from other artists and so on, and just kind of evolved into, a pretty decent hobbyist here. So, yeah, I figure let's go through my my workflow. Okay, so first things first here. We're gonna get this this Bloodmaster going, and the first thing here is me through the plastic package. Like a burly man. I can't even open a plastic package. Like I don't even know why I recorded this and then left it half in. Oh, don't worry. I realized I was recording and hit stop here. But in the process of doing that, I forgot to hit record again. And with that, the whole priming process. But no secret here. All I did was use Vallejo black primer. Just straight black primer covering the entire thing. Next thing I have to do right here is get the Vallejo white primer and get all my values first. Everything that I'm doing a lighter shade, I'm just going to follow the Khorne scheme of red, like red, black, kind of maroon colors, maybe a little bit of a little wash of orange. So what I'm doing is just getting all my values, and I'm kind of following this this process of figuring out where my light is coming from, because that's going to give me the values over the rest of the figure. So in this particular figure, I want to have the blade light up. Like I want kind of a cool flaming blade type thing, flaming molten blade, something like that. So I'm doing the values to reflect the light, or not reflect the light, sorry, catch the light is the word I should be using. You're going to hear me use a lot of incorrect words, whatever, rip me in the comments, I don't care. So anyway, going through here, you can see I'm trying to keep the same angle, just to get that really cool like light effect. You can see it like on the front of the character, on the chest, and so on. That's where I'm at for that. So here, it's really important not to overdo it. I have a process of kind of overdoing it sometimes. I just open up that airflow and just blast it out there. Don't do that. don't do that. That ruins the whole thing. You're just gonna have to reprime or soak and clean it. No. Try to go easy on this. If you start getting like little blasts of, you know, speckled sharticles there, you know it's time to kind of clean the tip of your brush. Now, I also have to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not an expert airbrush artist. I bought an airbrush specifically to paint Warhammer figures. Like, that's it. If you ask me to paint a picture with an airbrush, you're gonna happy face, something along those lines, because I can't do airbrush. I can illustrate, I can do that, but just not with an airbrush. So I know how to do it for figures. Whatever, cool. It works for my process. So you can kind of start to see where everything is coming together here. You know, you can see that the blade is obviously emitting the light and casting it over the rest of the figure. And that's what we're looking for at the end of the day. We just want our values, and now we move into the next phase. Okay, this right here, my favorite part. This is like my favorite part of painting a Warhammer figure. When you actually lay the color down on top of your values. So sexy. Love it. So I'm using a mixture of the contrast red from Citadel and some of the, what is it, the crimson ink from Citadel. I forgot what the name is. Why can't I remember what the name is? I don't know. I don't have the bottle in front of me. So anyway, about a 50-50 mixture of that in the airbrush keeps it running nice and smooth and just gets it looking really cool. So you can see I'm really hitting the white areas there, because I mean, hell, it won't really show up in the black, but that'll give us the values we want. That'll kind of give us the color we want. And you can see I'm kind of leaving the side by the blade white, and that's because I'm going to use some yellow ink later on, so we get a really good kind of color gradient. And of course, yeah, my favorite part, like, this only lasts, I don't know, it's like one of the shortest parts of painting a figure, or the shortest processes, but it's just so satisfying. It really is, you know, like bubble wrap. Just ooh. And the better part is going to be where I actually get to paint the blade and cast the color onto it, and you'll see. Okay, and you're ready for it, folks? You ready for it? Here it is. Here it is. Oh, that is satisfying. That is satisfying. I love seeing the figure finally kind of just materialize. Just go from a flat, you know, monotone figure. No, monochromatic. See? You're using wrong words again. Sorry. Anyway, so yes. This is a very satisfying part, where you actually get to see these color gradients come together. So as I go into the sword here, I'm gonna start getting the more the tip of the sword, because I want it to look like there's light kind of emanating out of the hilt. You know, kind of, I don't want to say lightsaber-ish, but you know, kind of signifying that the hilt has some of the power to the sword. So I'm gonna leave the area closer to the hilt more of a white, because I want that to you know, be awash in light. And so since it's so bright, you know, it's going to appear white. And like as the blade goes up, I'm going to darken that up a little bit to make it look like metal. So, you know, the blade is kind of getting, I don't know, hot energy from the hilt and then going up into the to the tip of the blade. Okay, so next up, I have to do all the little tiny metal bits. Painting all these little teeny tiny metal pieces here is probably my least favorite part of painting Warhammer. I mean, I love it all, don't get me wrong, but just all the little teeny tiny details, that's kind of where my attention starts to waver a little bit. That's okay. Either way, I understand attention to detail is important, and I am. It's, like I said, just not my favorite part. It's kind of like, you know, what's the worst part of cake? You know, I mean, even if there was a lousy part of the cake, it's still cake. So yeah, it's still fun. But either way, going through painting all my metal, what I am focusing on is not painting too much metal where my light's going to be. So you can see, like, back here behind the sword, I'm focusing on the areas that aren't lit up. And dropping my figure everywhere, of course. I mean, why not? So in here, you can see, like, even with the leg right here, all I'm doing is hitting the edge that is farthest from the light, and then I'm just going to let the light take over the other side of that. Yeah, sorry, I know, I keep getting my big fat fingers in the way and dragging the figure off screen. I'm getting better at keeping it in frame. You probably noticed my first two speed paints, if you've watched them, that I kind of wavered off screen a little bit. Sorry, you know, getting used to recording yourself takes a little time. So yeah, I'm just continuing through here with all the little metal bits under here. I'm using, let's see, for this I'm using Army Painter paints, which are pretty good. I mean, comparable to Citadel. But for the set I got, it was like $99 or something like that for, I don't know, 48 paints. It was a pretty good deal. I have no stock of the company. I'm just saying, hey, you know, this is where I got it. If you want the same thing, you know, Amazon, I think is where I got it. So you can see even the metal bits on the side there with the light. I'm not really focusing on those. So like the arm pad here, I'm just gonna kind of get the back of it, you know, where the light isn't directly shining. I don't want to ruin that effect. It's important to keep your effect consistent, even though it may feel a little hollow painting it, like, oh my god, I left something out, but that's not the case here. So getting his crown up here, and then of course on the opposite side we can add as much metal as we want. You know, paint the entire shoulder armor there, as well as the arm and so on, or the lower armor on his arm. What's that part of the arm? I don't know. Forearm. That's it. Yeah, I've learned about words. So yeah, I'll get through this and come back next step. So next up is the inking process, which personally is one of my faves. It really makes the model pop. Usually with any kind of black ink, I usually use the Citadel Nuln oil, especially for like silvers and stuff like this. I kind of want it to look dark and brooding. I don't want any super shiny metal on this character. So I'm going to apply the Nuln oil all over it, especially on the shadow side. I'm going to add a lot more over there. You can see it fills in like the eyes of the shoulder and then the teethy look of the forearm armor really adds depth. And I'm gonna take it easy on the side with the light. I'm just gonna get the sides of the legs that, or the sides of all the legs and armor that are away from the light. I don't want to ruin that effect. So next I'm going to attend to the Bloodmaster's mane. And so what I'm going to do with this is just dry brush some ceramite white along the tips and, protruding areas. I'm not just going to leave it like this, mind you. I'm going to use some of the Citadel purple ink. I think it's like Drukhari Violet. I forgot the exact color, but it's Citadel's purple ink. So anyway, dry brush that, and then after this, I'm going to cover it in purple. I don't like to go just straight up monochromatic, even though I'm trying to simulate like a black fur on his back. Instead, I try to put a little bit of color in there, give it a little bit of pop. I figure even with the black fur, surrounding light might make the black appear kind of purple. I don't know. It's just the style I use, and on the stuff I've done, it looks pretty good. I'm also going to dry brush the sword, the Molten Sword. You can see there I go out of frame again. Sorry. So the Molten Sword, what I'm going to do here is just kind of get the edges of this. And you can see that I'm kind of doing the same thing along a lot of the lit areas, just to give a little bit of pop for the areas that are, layers on top of layers, or surfaces on top of surfaces, just for a differentiating shine. Next, of course, comes more of the tiny bits. So I'm using the skull, I think it's skeleton bone, for Army Painter. Use that to paint all the little skulls all along his leg here, and around the back. I think he has like this, little thing of skulls. I don't know what you call it. I guess just a belt attachment, something along those lines. I don't know. Either way, there's a whole bunch of skulls. I'm not going to go overboard with it. I'm going to leave the eyes kind of black so that when I ink it, the recessed areas still keep a really dark tone. This is on the opposite side of the light, so you can go ahead and just hit it with as much color as you want over there. To start wrapping this up, I'm just going to use a little bit of the yellow paint. I think I used, for this one, the Citadel Demon Yellow, I want to say. I don't know. I should really get my colors down before I actually sit here and record. And I'm just going to use a little bit of that to dry brush along the side with the Molten Blade, so that his face, his horns, and so on catch the yellow light from the blade. Just adds a little bit of more accent on the sides. I'm using a little bit more of that purple ink, just to make my mane look black, but not too black. And I'm even going to do it on the side with the yellow color. Creates a little contrast and ends up looking a little cool. Diffuses it a bit, so it still looks like fur, so it doesn't look like shiny. We don't want it to look shiny. You know, we want it to kind of look matte. So this is the way to do it. This is the way to get that effect, at least in my workflow. And of course the tongue. Gotta have a purple tongue, create a little contrast. I love like the purple tongue and gums and so on. It looks very demony. Of course, I remember the name of one of my favorite inks, Agrax Earthshade Citadel, one of the Citadel colors. I love it. It's perfect for covering, you know, like skulls, stuff like that. Oh, it's a great multi-use color. So what I'm doing right here is just covering all the skulls with Agrax Earthshade, and that'll make them look pretty good. I mean, there's really not much else as far as tricks to the skulls. Just base layer and some Agrax Earthshade usually does the trick for me. And that's what I did here. That'll do it. That was my workflow for painting a Bloodmaster. It was pretty simple and straightforward. I'll be doing other videos if you guys liked this one, or check out my other speed paint videos on this channel. And other than that, I'll see you folks in the next video. Thanks for watching.